What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It's a beautiful day here in Findlay, Ohio, and I'm hanging out in the beer shed getting ready to check out a new beer. Now, as it's a Wednesday, I'm going to do a WTF Wednesday review. For those of you who may be new to the channel, WTF Wednesday is the one day a week when I do a beer I normally wouldn't on the program. Sometimes that means I do stuff from the big boys like Bud Miller and Coors. Sometimes I try interesting offerings from smaller breweries, and more recently I've been trying to do some international flair. So today's beer is going to fall into the second category. This is going to be an interesting offering from a smaller brewery. So this beer here is called Cherry Lime Rage. This is a fruited kettle sour from the Brew Kettle out of Strongsville, Ohio. Now, Strongsville is the other side of the state, closer to Cleveland, and this was actually picked up by the Ginger Yeti and is a gift from him. So Yeti, I appreciate it, my brother. I'll throw his logo up here, and his link is always in my description if you want to check out his channel. He does a lot of really cool stuff. His logo, again, looks like that, but I have my coasters as well, the very rare coasters, double-sided with my logo and his, where he's traveling all over the country. He's currently on tour with Amon Amarth and doing shows on the road. So he just did one at the Red Rocks Amphitheater, which was really cool, and I expect a bunch more to be coming out soon. So this here is actually a cherry lime sour. And I've had this in the fridge for a while, and I've been putting it off because I had mistakenly thought this was cherry lime and jalapeno. Cherry, I absolutely love. Sours, I'm a fan of. Lime, not really for me. But when I saw Cherry Lime Rage, I don't know why. When I saw the Rage in red letters with all that, I had assumed that this was going to be some kind of peppery or hot beer. So it sat in my fridge for probably, I don't know, a month or so since the Yeti bought it for me. And then I decided, I recorded a video with Don from Don's Beer Reviews today. I figured it's a time, let's do this. And now that I read it, I don't think there's anything spicy in it. So maybe I'm a fool and sat it out all this time because I didn't read the rest of the can. See what else we have here. There's not a whole lot going on. On the can itself, it has a cherry punching a lime, which I'm in favor of because I prefer cherries versus limes. And what else does it say? Sour ale with real fruit and natural flavors. 5.4% ABV, 16 fluid ounces, premium flavor, and it says fruit fight. Nothing else really of interest on here. Ratings-wise, does pretty good. Untappd 3.59, Beer Advocate 3.93, kind of surprised me. So let's check this bad boy out. Like I said, 5.4% ABV, couldn't find anything on IBUs. One interesting note I found when I was looking at Beer Advocate, somebody had said that this is vaguely reminiscent of Mountain Dew Code Red. Now, I'm not a Mountain Dew drinker, so I don't really know what that tastes like, but I would be interested to see if anybody else out there has drank this and the Mountain Dew Code Red and can confirm whether that's accurate or not. I thought it's an interesting description, although it made me want to run for the hills because I don't like Mountain Dew, so I don't know what to make of this one. Color-wise, looks quite nice. Fairly clear. Like, I can see through it. I see tons of carbonation, tiny little bubbles there, and an occasional, some floaters, I guess, which is, par for the course. If you're doing fruit sours, you tend to get bits of fruit in the fruit sour, surprisingly, right? Unless, of course, you're using extracts and flavorings and crap. If you're using real fruit, you always wind up with some floaties, and I do see a few floating around in here. Color-wise, if I use my Brew HQ chart, this actually's got a very nice color. It's like a light amber color. Hold it up to the light. I don't know if we've been mentioning this recently. The beers seem much darker in person than when you see them on video. So I don't know if it's just the lighting in the shed. But for me, I don't know. This is maybe like a 10. It's an amber color. It looks good. Head, I talked a little bit. There was probably a finger's worth initially of white head. It subsided. In my experience, fruit sours don't tend to retain the heads. They dissipate rather quickly, and this did the same. But it looked like we had about a finger's worth initially that's given way to kind of that thin head we see there. Let's give it a sniff. I think you pick up the fruits. Definitely pick up cherry and lime. What I was hoping for, as this is supposed to be a kettle sour, was a big funky nose. I'm a weird one. I do like fruited sours, and I do like them. I like sours to be sour. Now, again, it's not a beer, and I don't want to sit and pound a case of them. But if I'm going to have something that's a little bit different, like a fruited sour, I really want it to taste like that. And for me, the delineation between tart and sour is that physical reaction, right? You drink something that's tart, and I could say even eat something that's tart, like fruit, right? A lot of fruits, there's some sweetness to it, some tartness to it, and it balances out nicely. And a lot of the beers pull that off. But for me, if you want to be a sour, I want to have that lip puckering reaction to it to find out if it's sour or tart. So I guess we'll figure out which this is in a minute or so. Oh, I will say this too, before I begin. I know Anderson did a video on this, the Ginger Yeti, and I also know, I think Josh Ellis, the Mullet Gentleman, did one. I think Anderson sent him one as well when we sent him a package a while back. So there should be a couple of other people's videos on the same beers, so you can check them out to see, you know, what different people thought on these same beers. So let's give it a shot. Cheers. That's tough. That is right on the line between tart and sour. Now, normally if a beer is proper sour, I will give it the Bismarcky up here, which means that beer is funky. Do I think this one is? Yes. Now, well, here's the funny thing. When I first sipped it, I thought, no, it's tart, not sour. After I swallowed it and kind of let the tartness sink in, I felt my mouth doing the, ooh, that's tarter than I thought it was thing. So I will say this does get a Bismarcky. It's funky. I'm surprised. I didn't think it was going to be off the initial sip. But kind of as it settled, it got funkier. I like it. Now, we'll start off body. Body, I'd say probably medium. But the body's not really the star of the show on a beer like this. It's kind of those fruit flavors competing for dominance. And I think they do a pretty good job of balancing the lime and cherry. Now, as I said earlier, I love cherries, my favorite fruit in the world. Peach is probably second. As to hated fruits, lime is at the bottom of the list. I despise limes. I can't stand them. You know, when you go to a Mexican restaurant, they put them in your drink. Oh, I hate it. I went the other day, I ordered a big, I think it was like a 32-ounce beer, and they put 3 lime wedges. And I thought, normally this would be great, I guess, if you like limes, but for me, I said, now there's 3 different limes that have been smeared around the rim, and every time I sip it, I got to taste it. I think these guys do a good job balancing them. I do think the cherry is more dominant, but the lime bitterness or tartness, or whatever you want to call it, kind of balances it nicely. Like I said, once you drink it, the funkiness kind of sets in, which is a little bit different. Usually you get that funkiness right away, and you literally elicit that physical reaction of, ooh, this is super funky. This isn't up front, but you do get the funkiness at the back end. I'm embarrassed I let this sit for all this time because I thought it was going to be jalapenos or something like that. Now, to be fair, I think when you look at that and you see rage in the giant red letters, a lot of times fruited sours are done with spicy things to offset them. And knowing that the Yeti will buy spicy things because he knows I hate them, plus lime, he knows I hate them, I thought for sure he bought this to mess with me, but it appears that was not the case, and it's actually a really remarkable beer. I'm kind of surprised. Now, so for me, Cherry Lime Rage from the Brew Kettle, this is a banger. I'm still getting it after I'm drinking. You might see it's like that dryness or something, I think, from the fruits makes your lip do that pucker thing. But I keep doing it. Like after I drank the beer, I find my mouth's like kind of dry and wanting more. So I think they came through and did exactly what they said they did. And I'm thrilled the lime isn't so dominant that it's just like, I can't drink it. The sweetness of the cherry plus the tartness or sourness of the lime is working really nicely. So big thumbs up for Cherry Lime Rage. If you like the video, give me a big thumbs up. Hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, you got any comments or questions, jump in down below. Thanks again to the Yeti for the beer. I hope you have safe travels. I look forward to seeing your videos on the road, dude. Hey, till next time. Cheers.